for the digerati is that reality can therefore be had. If reality is made of language, then what we're saying is that it's code. And if it's code, then it is far more deeply open to the manipulation of the everyday dream. I mean, we've been messing around on the desktop, opening files with religions and political systems and xenophobic theories and racial superiority, all this stuff is harmful to human historical adventure.
Yes.
Not addressed the deeper level. And in thinking about this, relationship to human nation,
Yes. Welcome back to the ZnZerna Music Hour with me, P.T. Burnham. What's happening, y'all? I'm in this fog because I got this smoke machine for one last night, and I'm giving it a try during the show, coming in and out of this diffused light. My name's P.T. Burnham. Don't know if I've already said that. Welcome back to the ZnZerna Music Hour. I hope you had a lovely week. I've had a pretty good week. If you're in, say what's up in the chat. What's up, Footbags? How's it going tonight? Barry, excellent to have you back in the building. What's going on? Let's go. So yeah, things aren't on fire. We are drinking drinks, and we are playing around with a couple of new things. One of the new things is an app called Concentric, which basically allows you to make circular shapes with nodes. You can sort of see it in this iPhone shot here. Here we've got a series of circles with nodes on them that are going to be triggering. I got a little button. I got buttons for sounds. I got buttons for lights. I got buttons for smoke. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So, we're going to be running drums off of Concentric, and we're going to be having some piano, which I'll run in a moment, and we're going to have some synthesizer from the No Coast Trio. Blaze, please, blaze. And drink drinks. Oh, shit. Check this out. That's the ZnZerna coffee mug. I'm really pleased with how these things came out. They got the background and everything. So, now we can drink drinks. And I'm going to start these drums up again. So what's going on with Concentric? They came out a lot better. Like the t-shirts, I made those t-shirts with that t-shirt company. And they came out okay. They came out all right, but they definitely disintegrated quicker than I would have liked. And I didn't really feel like making those again. But the mugs came out in a way that I feel like I would put them up against any mug. And that makes me really happy. Because I don't just want to be like sending stuff out into the universe. I want stuff that's going to be like at least lasting and looking good for a long time. Okay, but yeah. Enough about these products. I'm gonna start up these drums again. Okay, so the cool thing about Concentric is that these rings are allowed to rotate in relationship to each other and can be set to auto-rotate in relationship to each other. I've got them set with some algorithmic rotations, and the key is to make shapes that will interact and interlock in interesting ways. These beats are pretty rudimentary in the way that they interlock and shift, but we've got some kicks reversing their positions and stuff like that. So that's going to be triggering the mighty pulsar. And from there, we're going to run these grand pianos, which I've been having a lot of fun sequencing recently. Oh, and to round off our textural palette, we're going to have some Terrence McKenna in the background.
And that one of the, among all the revolutions that we are enduring, one of them is that we live nearly twice as long as people lived very recently in the past. Well, culture is a kind of and I don't want to belabor that very much, but for those of you who are not biologists, the retention of juvenile characteristics into adulthood is dynamic. For instance, I'll give the most spectacular example of monogamy. There is a kind of animal which lives in ponds in Africa and reproduces it lays eggs on the bottom of the pond. However, if the pond dries up, the creature undergoes metamorphosis and becomes an animal from achieves sexual maturity in two forms, depending on environmental stress. Spectacular example of neoteny. Turning to human beings, the less spectacular example, but relevant to us, is our general body hairlessness compared to other primates. We look like fetal apes. Human beings look like fetal apes. Why? What is neoteny? Well, this is hotly debated among evolutionary biologists. But the point I want to make is a
Yes, Seeds Futures, what's up? How is my volume? Am I doing all right? I'm like right there in the yellow.
Organizing force. Because what culture provides is a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think. And a bunch of myths. So you don't have to think again. The culture has all the answers, you know. You want to know where people came from? Well, when the sky god got out of his canoe at first waterfall and took a leak, then we, the true people, appeared like... Gee, thanks. I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I asked. And the curve is that we live so long that we figure out what a scam this is. We figure out that what you're supposed to work for isn't worth having. We figure out that our politicians are buffoons. We figure out that professional scientists are reputation-building, grab-tailing weasels. We discover that all organizations are corrupted by ambition.
Cool.
You know,
Good.
you get the picture. We figure it out. Well, then, as intellectuals, and anybody who figures it out, to push you the other way. So then intellectuals, as people who figure it out, discover that you are alienated. That's what figuring it out means. It means you understand that the BMW, the Harvard degree, the whatever it is, this is all baloney and manipulated and hyped, and that most of you have a bunch of clueless people who are figuring out which course they should use. But this position is presented as alienation and therefore somehow tinged with the potential for pathology. You know, it's a bad thing to be alienated. Now let's speak for a moment, maybe to fulfill the promise.
I also got
led
this
in the introduction,
webcam in addition
about
to the overhead.
psychedelics. And what are they doing in this time situation? Well, what they're doing is forcing this maturation process by dissolving boundaries, which is what they do. They are exposing. Thank you all for turning out on a rainy night. Before I get into the main body of my entertainment, I want to call your attention to the propaganda for an event in Mexico and another event in Hawaii. In the case of the Mexico event, you get a major slice of the psychedelic community. You get Robert Montgomery, Jonathan Ross, Anne and Sasha Shurgin, Manolo Torre, Christian Resch, Ernst McKenna, and others who unfortunately slipped my mind, at the ceremonial center of Palenque in Chiapas. We've been doing these events somewhere in Mayan, Mexico for the past 10 or 12 years. Many of you are graduates, which doesn't mean you can't come again. But I want to invite all of you there. If you're interested in ethnobotany, shamanism, ethnopharmacology, altered states of consciousness, the politics of all of this, this is as intense and information-packed an exposure as you can have, and it's straight from the mouths of the scholars and scientists and writers who have spent a great deal of time in that area. So I just want to invite you to that. It's also a great party. It's the height of mushroom season. There's nothing we could do about that. So you just are on your own. So when I start out on these tours, I usually have an agenda and prepared remarks, and then as I make my way through my venues and I hear the feedback and I feel the ambiance of the people and the throb of the zeitgeist, it all sort of just simply dissolves into an ongoing commentary on our moment in space and time, and the various dimensions, adumbrations, and opportunities of our dilemma.
Fuck yeah.
But I want tonight to couch it for you in the context of, I guess, an extended metaphor. We could talk about these things in many ways, but I find them, to a particular extent, the metaphor illuminating. And I start by recalling an observation from someone whose name rarely falls from my lips, and that would be Gurdjieff. And Gurdjieff said at one point, or was known to comment, that people are asleep, he said. And he, by implication, suggested people awaken. I'm not sure if he fully grasped the implication for his own product line had that occurred, but in any case, you're on it, you're with me, yeah. It's very hard to give these lectures in such a way so that every person hears something different, which is what is supposed to be going on. Well, so thinking about this comment that people are asleep, I see several implications. I ask myself, what is awake in my own notion?
Drink,
and I
drink.
thought to myself, awake.
Shout outs to Dan
For me,
Keach.
awake is where the laws.
Shout outs to all of y'all's little positions in the cosmos.
You know, hurled objects shatter, electricity shock. I cannot fly. The laws of physics are in operation. In that domain, I consider myself to be fully awake. Now, in terms of occult and spiritual traditions, the admonition to awaken always seems to imply that higher consciousness is approached through an expansion of clarity and awareness. And that seems obvious. I don't argue with it as a rationalist. But as somebody who has run the edges, I've noticed something somewhat counterintuitive to that teaching. And it's this. It's that to contact the cosmic giggle, to have the flow of casuistry begin to give off synchronistic ripples, white caps in the billows of the coincidental ether, if you will. To achieve that, it requires, a precondition is a kind of unconsciousness, a kind of drifting, a certain taking your eye off the ball, a certain assumption that things are simpler than they are, almost always precedes what Miss Eliade called the rupture of plane, that indicates that there is an archetypal world, an archetypal power beyond and behind profane appearances. And in my own life, for those of you who are conversant with my output, when I went to the Amazon in 1971 and had the experiences that are described in True Hallucination, I had been, for many months before that, in Asia, smuggling, hanging out. And anybody who figures it out is intellectual. Very, very observing sleep. Some of you may recall the motto in Athanasius Kircher's Annunciation that's chiseled over the alchemist's doorway. I can't see it in Latin, but it says, while sleeping, watch. While sleeping, watch. And I've noticed that while going to sleep, there is a barrier, a place in the process of going to sleep that is like a mercurial edge, a river, a zone that you can go to it. You often pass through it post-orgasm. It's a place of drifting, a newborn, colored, active light, and then a true hallucination. Always, and many are away. And so if the world is collective of human beings, then it is never entirely away. It is never entirely And this understanding of and revolves around why people are weird, and why, either as a consequence of the approach of the millennium or the breakdown of traditional values or the density of electromagnetic radiation, or for some reason, a balkanization of epistemology is taking place. And what I mean by that is there is no longer a commonality of understanding. I mean, for some people, quantum physics provides the answers. Their next door neighbor may look to the channeling of archangels with equal fervor. I mean, if this is not a balkanization of epistemology, I don't know what it is. It is accompanied by a related phenomenon, which is technology, or the historical momentum of things, is creating such a bewildering social milieu that the monkey mind cannot find a simple story, a simple creation myth or redemption myth to lay over the crazy contradictory patchwork of profane techno, consumerist, post-McLuhanist, electronic, pre-apocalyptic existence. And so into that dimension of anxiety created by this inability to parse reality rushes a bewildering variety of swirling notions. Epistemological cartoons, if you will, and conspiracy theory, in my humble opinion, I'm somewhat immune to paranoia. So those of you who aren't, gaze in wonder. Conspiracy theory is a kind of epistemological cartoon about reality. I mean, isn't it so simple to believe that things are run by the grays, and that all we have to do is trade sufficient fetal tissue to them and we can solve our technological problems? Or isn't it comforting to believe that the Jews are behind everything, or the Communist Party, or the Catholic Church, or the Masons? So, well, these are epistemological cartoons. It's, kindergarten stuff in the art of amateur historiography. I believe that the truth of the matter is far more terrifying. That the real truth that dare not speak itself is that no one is in control. Absolutely no one. You don't understand Monica, you don't understand Netanyahu. It's because nobody is in control. This stuff is ruled by the equations of dynamics and chaos. Now, there may be entities keeping control, the World Bank, the Communist Party, the rich, somebody or others, but to seek control is to take enormous aggravation upon yourself. Because this process that is underway will take the control freaks by the short and curly and throw them against the wall. It's like trying to control a dream, you see. The global destiny of species is somehow unfolding with the logic of a dream. Well, now a Jungian would say, no surprise here, history is the collective dream of humanity. It is run by archetypal energy. It is downloaded by the zeitgeist into the various milieus and epochs of which it is composed. This seems reasonable to me. I don't want to give you the impression it's too linear to understand that what I am awake is good, asleep is bad. What I would rather do is explain this whole gradient of possible positioning vis-a-vis your life and your destiny, these choices that you have, and then have people understand that they choose. You choose to be asleep or partially asleep or fully awake, or to be one part of the time and in some situations and one part of the time and in other situations. Now, if in fact we exist inside some kind of morphogenetic field that is created by the sum total of human minds on the planet, and if in fact in half or more of those minds at any given moment the rules of the dream hold sway, then it is no that when we make our way in society, there's a beauty, there's a safety, there's a plot. We are inside some kind of engine narrative, I believe. Some science fiction writers, such as Regan and others, have suggested that this could even be a form of recorded media. It looks as you can see the thumbprints of editing on our reality if you are truly paying attention. I mean, if you're a devotee of serious stochastics and random unfolding, then you have to look very carefully at how unrandom and how most people if you take psychedelics, throw yourself to the edge and find strange aboriginal people in most parts of the world, the cosmic giggle becomes your friend. But in fact, ordinary people, everyone are touched by deep magnetism. And I again, primary data, and then the model that develops primary data without and historical. And when I do that, what I see is to understand that one is a character is a model you model out of the idea of the land. Christian heritage, anyway, these are some that occurs in the context of comparing dreams on many scales. If we have to really struggle. Is to understand that one is in the one, is to understand that one is in the one, is to understand that one, I mean, we don't have time in a situation like this to explore all the implications of this dream analogy that I'm pursuing. But one that interests me is the plasticity of time in the dream. And I think I would argue, as the devil's advocate, that it is the plasticity of historical time and the acceleration, the sense of an out-of-control spin up or spin down into new domains of possibility that is the strongest evidence present at hand that we are in some kind of dream. I've struggled my whole life with, I've always believed, or I've always felt the power of the statement, the world is made of language. But of course, you think about this proposition for 30 seconds, and the question that arises then is, if the world is made of language, then why isn't it the way I want it to be? You know, why does it have it has its own raison d'etre, even if it is language? Well, I think it's appropriate to speak of this to an audience as digitally sophisticated as I assume you must be. I think the primary insight that has been secured here at the end of the 20th century, primary contribution to 20th century thinking, is to have understood finally that information is primary, that this world, this cosmos, this universe, this body and soul are all made of information. Information is a deeper and more primary concept than space, time, matter, energy, charge, spin, has been, we know, pretty much as we confront it today, for at least 140,000 years. At Plattsburgh River Cave mouth in South Africa, they have excavated Homo sapien skeletons, 100,000 years old, and that's what's considered fat in the front row here tonight, and nobody would have batted an eyeball. So the human hardware has been in place.
So something that's really cool about concentric, when you're using it with an external MIDI drum machine, is that the mixer here, you got a little mixer screen, but instead of mixing volume, it mixes MIDI velocity. So you can turn down the hi-hats, and on a drum machine that has nice velocity sensitivity, you aren't just turning it down, you're kind of turning down the hardness of the hit, not just the volume.
And that was the cultural operating system. And if in a deal trading goats for olives, the dispute arose, people had reference to the central.
Yeah, that's got a softer attack.
Well, now, 101 was fine.
We could bring it up.
Olives and goat trading, but it didn't support higher mathematics. It didn't support rational observation of nature. It didn't support astrological knowledge of the movement of stars. As we have gone forward through culture, we have swapped out the operating systems. And at each swap out, there has been a lot of hair pulling and cussing and screaming. Anyone who has installed a new operating system is completely familiar with that thickening from the bowels kind of coldness that, you realize it all hangs by a thread. Now, this situation, or this operating system metaphor, I think is a useful one for understanding, and again, a circle closes, the balkanization of epistemology that causes me such anxiety. If you meet...
understand that one isn't.
lost in there for a minute. We're back. It's not quite what we're looking for. Not quite. And I'm not exactly sure how to change it so that it is. Okay. I think we're coming into the end. Gonna flip it back to the old drum beat.
Is to understand that one
Is to
when I
understand that
start out
one
on these
is to understand that one is a is to understand that one is
and
a
as I
is to
make my
understand
way
that
through
one
my venue and I hear the
beyond the
feel the ambiance, the throb of the zeitgeist, it all sort of just simply dissolves into an ongoing commentary on our moment in space and time and the various dimensions, adumbrations, and opportunities of our dilemma. But I want tonight to couch it for you in the context of, I guess, an extended metaphor. We could talk about these things many ways, but I find them, this particular extended metaphor, illuminating. And I start by recalling an observation from someone whose name rarely falls from my lips, and that would be Gurdjieff. And Gurdjieff said at one point, or was known to comment, that people are asleep, he said. And he, by implication, suggested people awaken. I'm not sure if he fully grasped the implication for his own product line had that occurred. But in any case, you're on it, you're with me, yes. It's very hard to give these lectures
really like that.
in such a way so that every person hears something different.
Oh, what's up, 1
Which
Infinite
is
Zero?
what is supposed to be going on, you know. Well, so thinking about this comment that people are asleep, I see several implications. I ask myself, what is awake in my own notion? And I thought to myself, feel awake is, for me, awake is where the laws of physics are fully operable. You know, hurled objects shatter, electricity shocks, I cannot fly. The laws of physics are in operation. In that domain, I consider myself to be fully awake. Now, in terms of occult and spiritual traditions, the admonition to awaken always seems to imply that higher consciousness is approached through an expansion of clarity and awareness. And that seems obvious. I don't argue with it as a rationalist. But as somebody who has run the edges, I've noticed something somewhat counterintuitive to that teaching. And it's this. It's that to contact the cosmic giggle, to have the flow of casuistry begin to give off synchronistic ripples, white caps in the billows of the coincidental ether, if you will. To achieve that, it requires, a precondition is a kind of unconsciousness, a kind of drifting, a certain taking your eye off the ball, a certain assumption that things are simpler than they are almost always precedes what Mircea called the rupture of plane, that indicates, that there is an archetypal world, an archetypal power beyond, behind profane appearances. And in my own life, for those of you who are conversant with my output, when I went to the Amazon in 1971 and had the experiences that are described in True Hallucination, I had been for many months before that in Asia, smuggling, hanging out, and I had taken my eye off the ball. I had become very gentle, very relativistic in my approach to other people's opinions and behaviors. I was easygoing. Too easygoing. And in that situation of semi-unconsciousness and openness, the cosmic giggle approaches. And I compare this is closing of a theme, I compare this to sleep, or to states that lie between waking and sleeping. And so again, an odd take on this remark of Gurdjieff. I remember someone many years ago said to me, they evoked the symbol of the yin and the yang, the two tears folded against each other within a circle. And this person, who was no rishi, roshi, geishe, or guru, but simply observant, said, it's not the black side, it's not the white side, it's the interface, it's the edge. And I found, by observing sleep,
okay, I think we're coming to the end here. So with that, Blaze, please Blaze, it's been a nice time hanging. It's been a good time. I certainly had fun. Baby, in case you missed it, darling, the place is not on fire. I still got Andy's fog machine. I'm putting it to use tonight. It's been fun. All right. So this was cool. I'm gonna bring it back to that cool plate. Yes. So, hope y'all have had a good time listening. I've had a good time making it. Okay, so this brings us to the conclusion of another evening. I'd like to thank my dust cats, all of y'all wherever y'all are at, all y'all watching Seas Futures. Bags, drink drinks, and continue to blaze on for days. I'm thinking about my man Hike Keach. Hoping that things are good with him up in New York. And I'm thinking about my dust cat, so I'm about to run this thank you. Appreciate y'all. We did a lot this year. Next week, I think we're gonna do a little rundown of everything that happened this year. It's been a big year. Put out coloring books, wall goo tapes, dust cat stickers, a couple of albums. Rest assured, dust cats, y'all help make it possible. My digicats, make sure you're checking the Patreon. There's things that you might be interested in, albums and snippets of audio as well as visual stuff. Kenny Creech, Erica P, Brittany Pittman, Melissa Schiltz. My bad. Wait 1 second. I can't rock it like that. I'm gonna kick back 1 second. Melissa Schick and Gerard Stoltz. Scarlett Herrera, Sam Seeger, Becca Magsig, Jen Dudley and Eric Akers, Anna Carmen, Wayne Anderson, Quinn Cat, Viz, still downstairs, Austin Cat. Thanks for holding me down. We also got the one and only Dogfuck, my Lumi Cat. We're going into a new year and we're going to see a few small changes in the structure of the Patreon as it relates to the show. But not too much. We found a pretty good place. So Dogfuck, you can definitely anticipate more tapes in the future. Barry. One or two, Barry. One or two people had to drop off, and I added a few too. My man Barry. Thanks a lot. Your support is greatly appreciated. And you should be getting an email soon. I sent one to you, but I'll send you another one regarding the final year's package of audio and physical goodies. In the meantime, till next week, I'll send it to you either again or I'll just send it to you tomorrow. I should have it saved, so I might have just saved it as a draft. I'll check on that tomorrow. Until next Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be the last ZnZerna of the year. Do a small recap. Some jamming, definitely. And yeah, until then, stay listening. And try harmonizing. Love y'all. And really appreciate you tuning in while I work some things out on these machines. To blaze is human. To drink drinks is divine. Alright, till next time. Have a good one. This is the ZnZerna Music Hour signing off. PT Burnham, take care.